So you've been sleeping well, you maybe even think you've ended your insomnia once and for all, and now it's come back. What can you do about that? Well, first of all, let me normalize it for you. If you've had insomnia in the past, it's likely that you're going to get it again in the future. Science has shown that. And the reason is because in the past, you've attached so much fear and anxiety and worry to not sleeping. As soon as you get another poor night or a few poor nights in a row of poor sleep in the future, instantly you can go back to that feeling of, oh, I don't ever want to go back there again. I can't go back there again. I remember how dreadful it was. I remember how terrible it was. I remember how depressed I was, how anxious, how I limited my life. And then because you're so terrified of it, so scared of it, then it's very likely that the effort, the control, and the worry is going to come back too. So first of all, I'm normalizing it, but I'm going to give you a really good ray of sunshine, a really good ray of hope now. It's very different to have your insomnia return if you have previously fixed it with a CBT-I program or a program like this. And that's because you know exactly how you got out of your insomnia in the first instance. So imagine we take Jane, who had insomnia for 5 years, and for whatever reason, she overcame it and she doesn't know why. Well, the reason why Jane probably overcame her insomnia is because she happened to get one good night of sleep, and then she got another good night of sleep in a row. She started relaxing around her sleep, her behaviour started to improve, and then she naturally started to become less anxious, less stressed, less worried. Her behaviours got a lot better, and she just generally just started sleeping better from that. But she doesn't know what she did to get her out of that insomnia. She starts thinking to herself, well, maybe it was the hot baths, or maybe it was because my life was going a little bit better and I was less anxious and stressed when I was coming out of my insomnia. So maybe it's because actually it was life events that caused that. She doesn't know how she escaped it. Now we've got Sarah, and she escaped her insomnia through a program like I offer, Sleepze.com. Awesome step-by-step one. So she escaped it via that. How is Sarah in a much better position than Jane? Well, Sarah knows exactly how she escaped it. She knows about the body clock. She knows about the sleep drive. She knows the behaviours, exactly what she did in that first instance that got her out of insomnia. So a great analogy for this. Jane finds this beautiful clearing in the forest. She's been hiking in the forest for days, and she finds a beautiful clearing. It's got a lovely stream running through it. It's got lovely toadstools, edible fruits and berries, delicious. I don't know where I'm going with this, but anyway, nice clearing, and she would love to go back there again because it was one of the peaceful, most calmest places she's ever been in her entire life. But she had no idea how she got there because she's been hiking for days in the forest. Well, Sarah, on the other hand, she saw a path that said, hey, that clearing in the forest is 2 miles that way. There's a clearing through the trees. There were signposts all the way. Who's got more likelihood of getting back to that clearing in the forest? Of course, it's Sarah, because she knows exactly how she got there in the first instance. So that's really encouraging to know that. Because you now know what you did to get out of your insomnia in the first place, you know exactly how to get back again. So what can you do? What's some real practical things you can start doing to put this relapse behind you and to get your insomnia back on, get your sleep back on track? Well, first of all, what I would like you to do is just grab a pen and paper, and I want you to jot down on that pen and paper what you were doing when you were curing your insomnia. So what behavioural changes had you made? What thought pattern changes had you made? What time were you waking up? How consistent and regular was your sleep-wake cycle? What were you doing during the daytime? So write that down in one column. Now write down the behaviours you're doing now. Write down the thought patterns you're doing now. And hopefully you can then look and compare the two, and it will become glaringly obvious what you need to do to escape your insomnia. I can almost guarantee the behaviors would have slipped, the thought patterns would have slipped, maybe you're taking the occasional supplement, maybe that wake time has become very kind of murky, maybe, you know, it's probably the behaviors you're doing now are not like what you were doing. So by writing these things down, it hopefully becomes glaringly obvious what to do. And in terms of practical things, what I would probably do in the first instance is just fix that wake time. Fix that wake time for a week. If you don't see improvements, then I would put yourself on a gentle sleep window. So have a think about how much you were sleeping after you were free of your insomnia. Maybe you felt like you were sleeping for 7 hours. Well, give yourself a sleep window of 7 hours. So fix that wake time, give yourself a gentle sleep window, and just start doing that. That's really all I think you need to do. If you're still struggling a little bit, if you're kind of still in it, you haven't seen the improvements that you've wanted, well, you can either maybe tighten that sleep window up a little bit, but it's probably then best to kind of look at the behaviors you're doing during the daytime. What are you doing during the daytime to get stuck back into life? What are you doing during the daytime to stop the obsession, the control, the fear, the worry around insomnia? And I can probably guarantee that also the behaviors during the daytime have started to slip a little bit as well, because this is the thing with habits. Bad habits are incredibly easy to make and incredibly hard to break. Good habits take a lot of effort to build, but once you've built them, it's fairly easy to keep going on with them, because habits, you know, it's harder to not do a habit than it is to, hang on, Josie, it's harder not to do a habit than it is to break it. I think that works. So as long as you kind of, once you're in that good habit, it's easier to keep going with it. But when it slips again, then it's hard to get back to doing it. So just have a think about how your habits have changed, what you're doing during the daytime, and hopefully all of this combined is going to help you get out of this relapse. And if you really do struggle, grab my books, grab my sleep program, step by step, week by week, start putting that structure back in place, and I can guarantee that you'll get back to how you were. And the brilliant thing about relapse is, it's not like you can ever go back to square one. It's not like if it took you 3 months to escape from your insomnia the first time, it would take you 3 months again. No, the thought patterns have already been made. The brain has already been rewired. So relapses, they're nowhere near as severe as you think they are, because you know how to get out of your insomnia. The brain's already been rewired, and I can guarantee that you will escape this just like you escaped it the first time. So have confidence, have self-belief, have courage, and you'll get back there again. I really hope this video has been helpful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye, 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 bye.